Hello, everyone, and welcome to our MediaSoft Roadshow with a clear focus and dedication to the German market and, of course, also the DACH region. Really pleased to welcome you all who joined. I really can say that there was a quite high interest, which certainly makes us very happy. But that high interest, I also would say, was generated with two amazing speakers, which we have here today. So really glad to welcome at first place Nico Renner from Roche. Hi, Nico. How are you doing?
Great, thanks for inviting me.
And Robert Sunjic, the manager of the DACH region from Grünenthal. Robert, how are you doing? And I suppose I pronounced the name super good because we share the same mother language, right?
Yes, very good. Well done, Dario, and thank you for having me here as well. Looking forward
Okay.
to the discussion with Nico and you.
Okay, so gentlemen, obviously we prepare for this interview, for this interesting discussion. When we speak about omnichannel, we certainly, I think, speak about one of the most hyped terms currently in pharma. That's certainly the fact. However, what I would like to speak today is to speak about omnichannel with a clear focus on the German market, because we all know that Germany is basically quite different compared to some other markets. There are some channels, some specifics which are not so I would say common on other markets. And the first question which I would like to kick off the discussion is, what are actually today needs of a robust omni-channel engagement strategy and CRM capabilities for the German market? Who would like to start first, gentlemen? Robert?
I can start. At the end, I think, Dario, you mentioned the difference of Germany maybe to other European markets. But the question for omnichannel is, I think, as in all other European or worldwide countries, the same, how we can manage our engagement with customers in one CRM system, in one thing. In Germany is the specification, I would say we are not as digital as we would like to be. And this is a challenge because all the other channels we are doing, and this is also Omni when we are using a fax machine. And
Exactly.
I read an article last year that 80% of the worldwide fax deliveries are in Germany, and 80% of it in the health sector. So this is a real serious channel. We don't want to use it, but our customer want to receive information by fax machines. Yeah, and to manage this in the CRM system is for me, as an example or as a small example, a challenge for the German market, because we have some traditional channels. Let's phrase it like this, which we haven't really, or which we can't see 100% in our CRM system, and this is a huge challenge. I would start with this and bringing the fax machine in this discussion. And my colleague from Commercial Excellence, Florent, is always laughing about the fax machine, but it's still part of our omni-channel journey with our customers, and it's reducing. But I'm not sure, Nico. Maybe you are using it as well in Roche also today.
Most likely, but I would agree on that. And actually, I mean, if fax is used by our clients, and at the heart of omnichannel marketing is the client, so therefore, if the client wants to use it, well, then we should use it as well. I mean, that's just a matter of fact. I would say regarding omnichannel marketing, the biggest challenge is probably the orchestration of all channels you have, and also the question like, who is orchestrating those channels? And I think we discussed it as well in preparation for this call. Quality over quantity. How many channels do you actually need to do effective omnichannel marketing? And also understanding that face to face and human to human is also part of omnichannel marketing, not only digital. I think that's where we're struggling. We try to do everything at once, and that's in many cases not even necessary. And when it comes to CRM systems, I think with big data and all these kind of things, it's always the same. The data quality decides on your impact at the end of the day. So how do we actually engage and motivate all people using the CRM system to put in data frequently, but also in a good quality? And I think that comes then down to user experience, because you really, I mean, the system should be easy to use, not take a lot of your day, so to say. And also I think the bigger picture should be communicated very well, because I'm sitting there filling in data in a system, but I don't in this very moment have a direct feedback on why am I actually doing this? What is the benefit for me? That's more like in the midterm future. And we're not good as humans, if I may say so, to do something that we will get benefit from in the future. That's just a connection we're not good making, I'd say.
Definitely, that's part of the change management, which is always super hard, right? To change someone's manners, intentions, and actions. Right, we started the discussion in a quite nice way. I would just like to engage with the audience and ask if you have any comments, questions to our fellow speakers. You can put them in the comment section, and if you receive some interesting comments and questions, we will obviously raise those to our speakers. So let's proceed with the discussion. And the second question which we have is how do you see actually the commercial medical strategy and alignment so that we actually have a better alignment with each other, because we all know that actually medical is almost not speaking with commercial and vice versa, and this certainly becomes a huge topic in pharma and obviously also in Germany. Robert?
I was just disconnected for a second. We are on the topic of the medical collaboration. I think a huge topic which is going through our industry, and I'm discussing this also with a lot of our colleagues, and especially on the last Next Summit. I really enjoyed this topic on stage from all the speakers we saw in Vienna and also in Dubrovnik last year, that this is the next level we have to manage, also with our communication between medical and the rest of the organization. And the question is how the CRM system will help us, how the CRM system, and maybe on a later stage, the artificial intelligence will give us the next best action after a medical interaction, with a medical interaction. And this is currently the one of the biggest topics that I think we are discussing in our industry, how we are getting closer together. Over the last years, it was always the topic sales and marketing, how we are connecting both channels, and in omnichannel we need this very strong connection. And for medical, it's the same. I think medical is one, as Nico mentioned before, the face-to-face or H2A interaction is the most important and best interaction with our customer. It's one omnichannel interaction, but also all the medical activities we are doing with MSLs, with other medical education stuff, has to be reflected in our CRM system. It's sometimes not always easy because we have firewalls between medical and commercial, and that makes it a little bit harder to see everything what I, as a key account manager, also as an MSL, want to understand about a customer. And I think there is the need for the next CRM wave is needed to bring us a solution how we can interact between the firewalls for a better customer engagement, because that's the customer experience is the other big topic we are talking about, and medical marketing and sales are in this topic super important, and that's why this is for me and when I'm looking at my organization in DACH and globally, Grünenthal, we are really focusing on this next level of quality, I would say, because the CRM, when we are honest, was several years ago, it was the documentation system. Today, it's much more, and that's why it's a helpful tool to do the next step.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Robert. Nico?
I agree on everything what Robert said, and I would add one more dimension, namely like the internal dimension. I mean, I like the silo firewall metaphor, and obviously this is also due to legal regulations that we need to deal with. That's a fact. But there's nothing more embarrassing than talking to a client and realizing, oh, my colleague actually talked about a topic with him and I'm not aware of it. So I think this also has an internal dimension with the CRM system. You can create transparency across roles. For example, I'm in a non-commercial role at the moment, but still there are a lot of topics that you discuss with clients that your commercial or medical colleagues should know about because they're engaging the week after, and it just gives a holistic picture. And you can only do omnichannel marketing if you're very well connected and have a nice transparency across functions. And this is very time consuming at the moment. I think that's a matter of fact that omnichannel marketing is super exhausting. It takes a lot of resources if you want to do it right. But a good CRM system can help create this transparency across roles, and this is just the fundament of doing omnichannel marketing then also externally.
Definitely.
I'm always saying for a good customer experience, in front of a customer, we are all coming from the same company. It's Roche, it's Grünenthal. That's not important. The customer don't divide us in medical, sales or marketing. He's always seeing us as the company which want to interact, and that's why I think this is a super important step. With all the respect for legal reasons, etc. That's clear.
Same as we do use the same persona for the very same ACP, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking, let's stay a little while with this commercial medical part. And I wonder, do you really see like today's alignment between commercial medical when it comes to CRMs? Because what we face in some very rare cases, I won't mention, of course, the pharma companies, but we see that, for instance, commercial is using one CRM, medical another one. We create like different data silos. They're not speaking with each other. Is that the perfect playground that we confuse our customers or the HCPs, or how do you see this particular team?
I mean, definitely, if you're showing up with your client, and as Robert says, they don't differentiate between this is medical, this is market access, this is marketing, this is all buzzwords to them, obviously. And you're one company, so if a colleague shows up, they will ask the questions they have in mind at this very moment. And if they're asking medical questions and you're a marketer and you have no answers, well, you gotta go back to talk to your medical colleague. That's clear. But what is, as I said, embarrassing in that moment? Oh well, you spoke about, I don't know, XYZ with my colleague, and I'm not even aware of it. This is something that we need to take care of, and of course, this is where CRM systems will help.
Yeah, and we are back, Dario, on the customer experience. If the guy from Grünenthal Roche can't help me or can't interact with me to the next level, then my customer experience will not be good. I'm only then connected to the person I spoke before, and that's a little bit the situation we have time to time, because a lot of our customers want to talk to medical because it's unbranded. It's I have a broader data set, etc. And this is developing the silo, and especially hard for the commercial part to have a positive impact on the customer experience. And that's why I think the cross-functional work has to be better, and the CRM system can play a great role, because I know that Dario was visiting Nico a week before, and I'm here today, and I can connect with Dario and know what is the task. And if we have two CRM systems, which is, I would say, which we have in the industry, I know, that's a failure. And of course, we have to respect the firewalls. We have to know who is allowed to read what about the customer, but to know. And that's the lowest information I have to share. To know as a medical that Dario was there as a salesperson is super important. And I think this is possible to share the information, but we are not doing it because it's not everywhere implemented. And this is a topic, I think, and when we are talking about customer experience, this is for me a very small piece, but very important one to know what we as a company are doing with customers.
Definitely.
And there is a reason why some of them are complaining that we are not aligned.
Definitely. Nico, anything to add?
No, I think Robert nailed it.
Okay, let's speak about the trends. So, like we said, Germany in some way is specific, is unique, same as any other market is. Obviously, it's one of the top 5 markets in Europe. But what or which trends and channels do you foresee in the future, in let's say short term, long term, when it comes to proper HCP engagement, and when it comes to the integration part into CRM? Who would like to start first, gentlemen?
I can give it a go. So I would say social media. Sounds ridiculous, but we all use it. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and we have legal regulations. We can't just put product information there. That's obvious, but you need to be where your customers are. And the fact that nobody wants to hear is that social media is part of this. WhatsApp, for instance, is well, depending on the discussion, social media or messenger. But I think one trend that now going into these niches is risky for us. Is, you know, today emails, we all send emails every second day, and nobody can read them anymore because it's just overwhelming. I believe that the trends as social media so on will emerge. The trend is going to be that we're going to use these channels, and then the danger is of using these new channels that are easily accessible for clients, using them in the same way as emails. So we just put 2,000 mails in there every year, and then WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever is going to become the new email. I think that's what we need to be careful about. But yeah, that's the trend I'd mention.
That's a good point. Robert?
Yeah, as all, we are working on the trend that AI will help us. So, I joked with you guys that we are working on the AI support for us, but we haven't managed in our industry the 90s perfectly. So, and there are all good reasons, and I think we are all talking about the same issues, but. I think you nailed it here, Nico, very well. Our customers are changing. They are getting younger, and that's reality. And the world is much faster than I would say 5 or 10 years ago, and our clients are different. So the old channels and behaviors we had doing education, visiting customers. It's not enough. So every event has to be orchestrated digitally, and also my face-to-face visit needs a digital support because we are and we need shorter informations, and that's really hard. If you do a webinar, we always want to do 45 minutes because then you get also CME points, which is in the regulation. But we are now all, I would say, addicted to very short information, a clip of 2 minutes. But your customer will not get a certification for it. But the information is maybe better placed in a short video than you have a big one. So, and these are, I think, to really have a clear trend. I think it's not clear what will be in 2 years the trend, because there are so many, and the question is where our industry is following. And of course, artificial intelligence will help us in our day-to-day business to develop materials, to do texting, to prepare whatever we are doing in marketing and medical. And I'm seeing there a huge support. We are currently in projects of this, and that's really fantastic to see how this development goes forward. But there is much more, especially in the engagement with our customers, and social media it's a big one, and we are not really there. So because we are not allowed, maybe in the US, but all over the world, it's really hard.
Robert, I saw a post of Grünenthal the other day that I really like, which combines social media and Gen AI, and namely this picture of a patient describing his pain, and then AI painted a picture for that. So that's a perfect example of combining both, actually.
Right.
Really like that one.
Yeah, very good point, and glad to hear that you saw it on the channels. and that's cool to hear. But that's just the beginning, right? But small examples, and the question is, we are excited about it because we are in this digital topic, we are in the social media, we are following each other. The question is, how much are our customers seeing this? And there is a way to go to bring them there, to do market research. It's much harder I asked my team, can we do a market research about social media? It's hard because everybody is on social media, as you said, Nico. But the question is how much business-related topic they are doing there, because the offer to learn about a product from Roche, from Grünenthal, is limited. You are linked to our websites, to our virtual events or whatever. But the question is to measure this. That's what I think we are all doing, to see where the people are coming from. But this is really hard, because then we also don't know, is this the right persona? Is this connected? The data quality is also limiting us, and we have to improve here faster. And Dario said before, Germany is special. We have a data privacy regulation, which is super high level, that makes it also harder to grow in this segment faster. Let's phrase it like this, because that's a blocker. I'm not sure how it's in your case, but I assume the same, because
no, I mean it's the same thing, and I like what you're bringing up here. Like what is the return of invest of a new channel, of a new strategy to approach our target groups. And there's, I think, one of the core slogans of design thinking is always fall in love with the problem, not the solution. Just because you can do social media doesn't mean it actually brings impact to your business or delivers value to patients. So therefore, that's always a tricky question. And with Gen AI, that's the same thing. If you have a hammer in your hand, you just see nails, and you just want to use the hammer everywhere. And with Gen AI, I mean, there are these cartoons floating around, like somebody taking 3 bullet points, writing it into an essay, then sending it over to a colleague, and the colleague uses AI to consolidate the essay into 3 bullet points. Is that really changing anything? I doubt it. So therefore, really considering which activities do bring value for patients, for businesses, that's upfront very, very important. And see how that turns out for social media.
Just to build on that, I really like the point which Robert mentioned, that we as humans are super incapable to predict things. So I think we definitely should underline that one. I mean, if you look historically, CRM systems in the last 20 years, they mainly changed on the platform side, which means instead of a laptop, the rep is nowadays having a rep, right? iPad, right? And the second part, I fully agree with the point that actually the whole journey of customer experience or orchestration starts with ask your customer and ends with ask your customer, right? But let's go even maybe a little bit more futuristic in the future. And for instance, let's ask about even the capabilities, how Gen AI will play a role within the CRM and within the commercial capabilities, and potentially chatbots as well. I mean, chatbots is something which isn't new, but do you see that in Germany, HCPs would use, let's say, good developed chatbot, which is somehow aligned with their expectation and needs, so that somehow it's used for a full marketing strategy?
I personally have my doubts on that, because we're still talking about medicine and healthcare. So therefore, using a chatbot, I mean, we all know that ChatGPT is not perfect, but in healthcare, you want to be perfect. The discussion afterwards is always like, well, but humans do also errors. And if the error rate of a machine is even lower than the human, like, what's the difference? But I personally, if I see a physician and he's using a chatbot to decide on which therapy I'm getting, I would feel uncomfortable. I don't know whether this is rational, but this is just from an emotional perspective. And I would say this is a human thing. So I'd assume that most physicians probably would feel the same, at least when it comes to medical data. With our offers, for example, like where do I find information XYZ in Grünenthal's homepage? That's something where a chatbot can help. But we all know that these chatbots need to be very well developed. Otherwise, they're annoying and you want to speak to a human in the first place. But to your question, like, how can Gen AI help us with the CRM systems? Well, if even, for example, everything that can be pre-selected is done by Gen AI, so I spend less time actually filling in data into CRM system, that's already helping. And I think one big buzzword that we all use is, well, what's the best next action? What's your recommendation? So AI is screening the entire CRM system and then tells you what to say to Dario next time you meet him. But I think that's very futuristic, and I don't expect that to happen in 2024, to be honest. I don't know whether Grünenthal is faster here.
Yeah, I think, or I like your thinking, Nico, and I think the question is again, are we believers and are we allowing it because of regulatory or regulatory things of patient safety situations? Because that's the big hurdle we have to overcome, and we have, of course, to trust the system and to monitor the system. And the question is how you can do it, and it's much easier in other industries than in our industry because we are so much regulated. And I think this is the challenge. Will the system or the AI be as good? And maybe, as you said, we can start, and we will for sure start earlier or later to have the first interactions via this channel. And I think you asked first, Dario, are customers willing to do it? If they don't know that's a chatbot, then yes, as humans everywhere. So I don't know how often I'm doing conversations with chatbots when I'm searching for whatever. And I think if it's good enough, yes. And on the other hand, the problem is always our industry, that we have really to take care of patient safety, because if we do a mistake, and especially with the background of Grünenthal and the history, we are very much looking in this quality, because we did one mistake 60 years ago. So and that's why you can't allow the system to do another mistake. But this is, I think, we will overcome this hurdle in the quality on a time point, and maybe with learning how the machine is working and where we can stop it or interact with the customer at the end. You need a monitor of the activities there, and this is, I think, the solution. But how fast this will be, I'm also not seeing it in 24, but I'm sure it will come, because it's unstoppable at the end. Yeah.
So long story short, to sum it up, 24, we won't expect any huge changes when it comes to the CRM needs and capabilities. Still, us, your customer, is relevant. Still, the omnichannel journey is ongoing. We are exploring that, right, with adding new channels, with experimenting with new channels, like Nico mentioned, social media and so on, but also relying on traditional channels. But however, what do you see, and how do you see that actually a modern pharma company can change in that segment of omnichannel? So do you think that experimenting with new channels makes sense, or not, since our customers have clear expectations how to engage with us?
I think, as always, experiments makes change, because otherwise, or is training as well, and experiments are super important to learn and to grow, and that's why I think this is for our industry super needed. And I like our conversations we have on Next Pharma or other opportunities where we meet each other, because it's very inspiring to see what this industry is doing. And I think we have all the same problems, all the same challenges, and that's why experiments are super needed. And the question is, do we really all need the same experiments, or we can learn from each other and develop our industry better for our customers and at the end patients? And this is a little bit the challenge where we, I think, can exchange more, of course, in the regulatory situation. And that's why congresses are super important from my perspective, and inspiring on the experiments we are doing as individual companies.
You mean live or virtual congresses?
Both. But I'm now a little bit older than I think you both. So I love the live ones, but I also accept these ones we are doing here virtually. So because everywhere I'm learning a little bit, and this is the puzzle to collect everything. But as you know, live is always the best one, and in lovely Dubrovnik, maybe the nicest place to do it, but that's another story.
Fantastic. Nico?
I would just add that, experimenting with new channels, why do we do that? Well, to get more efficient and to really use the channels that our clients want to use, so that they don't lose time by getting information to treat their patients with the best products possible and the best workflow possible. So therefore, I'd say, imagine we would stop experimenting and we would just use inefficient channels all the way. That would be horrible. And I think that's a thing that holds true for all people and companies in the healthcare industry. So I would encourage people to keep on experimenting and getting better.
Fantastic. Okay, final thoughts. How do you see, or which advice could you give someone when it comes to the CRM and commercial strategy for this year, and maybe also including next year? Like I said, we are slowly running out of time, so this would be just some short final thoughts. Maybe we can start with you, Robert.
Yeah, at the end, learn, try, and connect the dots. Connect the dots. I think that's the most important thing, because learning here and there, that's why we have to bring it together.
Nico?
My recommendation would be, don't try everything at once. Focus on the 3 experiments you really see value in. And if it's not a hell yes, then don't say yes and don't do everything at once, because then we will do everything but poorly. So I think that's very important to prioritize in an omnichannel marketing strategy. Omnichannel is like playing piano. You don't need to press every key at once. Focus on the ones that actually, bring the music to the customer.
You can, but the music won't sound good.
Exactly.
Okay, gentlemen. So, Nico, Robert, great pleasure having you here today. Hopefully you enjoyed in our conversation. I really enjoyed quite a bit. Hopefully also seeing you very soon in May or in October, and take very good care.
Thank you very much. Looking forward. All the best.
Bye-bye. Thank you for inviting us.